Good morning. It's Dr. Bonnie Wims. I'm coming in live today because I was hoping to connect with some of you all and just talk a little bit about mental wellness. Now, um, I know there's a lot going on out there. There's a lot of self help. There's a lot of people weighing in on what to do when you're feeling anxious or depressed or just sort of over it all. And I'm reading a lot of excellent tips out there, and I feel like there's a lot of really good advice. But the one thing I don't see very much of is someone talking more about acknowledging your feelings. And it may feel a bit counterintuitive right now because your emotions may be difficult. They may not be so pleasant. So when you've got somebody like me, a psychologist, saying maybe you should feel your feelings, you might be thinking, no, not so much. No, thank you. I don't really want to feel them right now. I want to do everything I can to distract myself. And I get that, really, I do. But the problem with emotions that are denied is that they'll allow you to push them down and to ignore them to a point. But then eventually they come back. And when they come back stronger because they haven't been acknowledged, and you haven't given yourself the gift of acknowledging and trying to understand your emotions. So, just a little example. If the other day I kind of woke up, and that kind of lingering feeling, I don't know if you guys have had it, but some days it's just sort of, the routine and the waking up and the, just the sameness of it all. I sort of had this nagging feeling of sadness and what's the point sort of thoughts running through the back of my mind. And it wasn't so much attached to anything in specific. It just was a bit of a fatigue that I felt was sort of threatening to pull me down. Now, I could have just ignored those feelings and gotten up and just really pushed through the day and hoped that they just sort of would have disappeared. And sometimes, you get busy, you take a walk, you do things, and these feelings do sort of dissipate. But the problem is with the feelings right now is that we are all sort of in these routines that we aren't particularly comfortable with all the time. And underlying all of that, I think, is some fear of the unknown, fear of what could happen to us, fear of what could happen to our loved ones, or just acknowledging that things have happened to us and trying to manage that. So the feelings that I had of sort of what's the point? I just acknowledged it in my mind, and I thought to myself, this seems reasonable given what's happening to me. So I'm not going to push it away, but I'm also not going to embrace it. I'm just going to sort of watch it and see it for what it is. It's an emotion. Now, the thing about emotions are that we forget when we're feeling them is that they're temporary. They sort of float on by. You can ignore them or you can allow them, but either way, they sort of move through a cycle. And the thing about acknowledging them is you acknowledge the feeling, you understand it, and you watch it, and then you sort of let it move on. There's no, wrapping your arms around it and saying, yes, there is no point to this right now, and I do really feel bad, and, my urge to curl up on the sofa with a good book and a blanket. Nothing wrong with that, but as far as this day, it wasn't good for me because I had a lot to do. So the emotions are there, they feel quite strong. But think about it, in the past 6 weeks, all the emotions that you have felt and how they've ebbed and flowed and come and gone, connecting with others, sticking with a routine, acknowledging your feelings, and then if they do get too intense, seeking help from somebody like an online therapist or a friend or somebody that you trust, that you really feel that you can speak to about what's going on for you. But it's kind of a balance between not ignoring them but not embracing these emotions. It's what we think about ourselves as a result of these emotions that kind of sticks around. It's not so much the emotion themselves. I can feel sad, but if I feel sad and then I start to judge myself and do some negative self-talk about why I feel sad and how come you always feel sad and why aren't you able to do better like everybody on the internet looks like they're doing, then I'm sort of piling on myself. The initial feeling of being sad is justified, it's real, acknowledge it, and then see if you could just sort of put one foot in front of the other and manage your day the way that you would have normally. Sometimes it gets more intense, and I get that, and so that's when I think we should seek out some additional help. Therapy is one of those things that, I think still has, unfortunately, a stigma to it. But all it is talking to somebody who you feel can listen and really validate you, hear what you're saying. And sometimes in our real lives, the people that are in our lives are too close. They in an urge to help us or desire to, you know, not want to see us suffer. They may tell us what to do, how to do it. They may tell us to stop feeling the way we're feeling. And those kind of things aren't always the most helpful. Sometimes our feelings need to be acknowledged by a professional, and we need to be walked through the steps of how to manage them better. It's no sign of shame. It's just using someone else to help us move through something that's particularly difficult. And right now, I think it's particularly difficult for a lot of us. So seeking help is something that is a good idea, I think, just to see what it is that you could do to help yourself. On Thursdays, I'm doing an open group chat through Zoom at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time and 8 p.m. Just trying to catch a bit of cross purposes there for people to be able to join in. It's $25 for the hour. There's a group. I'm limiting it to 6 people each session. And if you'd like to pop in and join, please do. And I will put my email at the bottom of this. Just email me and I'll register you for the times. But every Thursday, if you want to pop in and have a chat, or just pop in one Thursday and that's it, that's fine too. It's my way of trying to provide a group for people to get together and talk about some of these things that might be difficult, and maybe share with each other ways in which we can manage things. I want to do it every Thursday because I want to give you guys an opportunity to know that it's a consistent thing you can pop in on whenever you want. So anyway, this was just wanted to talk to you a little bit about managing your wellness. Please put any thoughts you have or questions below, and we'll do our best to try to help you through this time. And just remember, we are in this together.